so excited to welcome my friend Lisa Wallner to my Beyond Balance podcast. And she is the perfect person to be in here because I want to share life stories that are transformational for entrepreneurs. And a lot of that comes from them living out their soul purpose. That's where the magic really happens. And Lisa has just released a book called Soul Creation, and it talks about the power of aligned manifestation, what manifestation is, because there's so many different definitions. I'm excited to dive into that with Lisa today, actually, and talk a little bit about that. But I wanted to have her in here and on here today because I think it's so important, especially at a time like this in the world where, there's going to be a massive transition of jobs, a massive transition of what we do for work and how we find peace and purpose over the next 5 years because of technology and because of AI. And I think purpose will be at the forefront of that. And it's something that I'm really, really passionate about, is helping people make an income around the things that they love and how to create a lifestyle that earns you an income that you wake up excited for in the morning. Like, how many of you guys jump out of bed in the morning and are like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get started. I cannot wait to talk to my team. I cannot wait to talk to my clients or my customers. I cannot wait to serve people because I know how much I'm going to be able to help. Like, it feels so good to be in alignment when you've got that going on in your life. So Lisa, I would just love for you to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your life and where all this came from, because I'm sure that you didn't just start off this way and show up this way in life this way, right? And so I'd love for you to share your journey with us a little bit, and then we'll talk about your book. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation, and hello to everybody that's watching. So, well, actually, my journey started really early, and I was kind of born that way, to be honest, because I really never had another job. Like my whole journey of being a business owner or an entrepreneur started 15 years ago, and I was born into a family of business owners. So I kind of grew up with that mindset, which helps always. And I'm like a really kind of adventurous person, I would say. So even as a child and as a young adult, I would just create events and write, I would write little scripts and make theaters, and I would just like organize a lot of things. So this is kind of my personality, and I never had like a normal job. So I started with spirituality. Like, my background is, I'm coming from a lot of meditation, a lot of coaching, a lot of self-experience, consciousness exploration. And then, like, after a few years, after this journey going inwards, I really decided to go outwards and help people. And then I just started to work here in Vienna as a coach, as a healer. And then I transitioned into teaching, and I was even working as a psychic intuitive and helping people that way. Yeah, so I have a lot of different things. And then a few years ago, I just transitioned into online business and helping other business owners to achieve their goals and dreams. And so when I look back at how did I start, I mean, I always felt this is my calling. And I think this is maybe the one thing I'm always telling people: just follow your calling, follow your heart, your joy, because this is what the purpose is. And I think the more we are following that, the more we are also feeling the joy. As you said, like, you wake up and you feel, oh my God, I'm so happy. This is what I can do. And you really feel the privilege of that. So this is what I'm always remembering each day, that this is a huge privilege, like what we're able to do, inspiring people, just following our intuition, our heart, and really making a difference to the world and making an impact. So I think even after so many years, this is the one thing I'm always conscious about, that this is like, it's a huge privilege, and I'm just following that and using the time, making the best of what I can. So yeah. This is my story.
So here's what I want to talk about, because people will hear that message and be from, it's such a privilege, I get to do this, and they'll instantly count themselves out. They'll instantly say, okay, good for you. Right? They won't see it for themselves. They'll have that little inkling in their heart. I was made for more than working at this store. I was made for more than doing this job, but they won't actually follow that intuition. So can you speak a little bit to that, on the people that maybe feel less worthy of chasing that goal and creating this for themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes back to the self-image and to the self-esteem, because I mean, I really believe in an abundant universe, that there is so much more resource than we think. So we always have to start with the mindset. And no matter where you come from, and really no matter what your situation is right now, you can always make a new choice and create a new future. And I think it's a matter of consciousness. If you're willing to go into the creation mode and just saying, okay, I am creating my reality and I'm not the victim of the outside circumstances. And I think we have to be really honest with ourselves and discipline our own mind, because, it sounds so kind of shiny when we say that, we say we live our purpose and we have these really successful businesses, etc. But it's also a lot of work and a lot of discipline. And I mean, for myself, I say I have to make those choices every day, and I have to overcome my fears and my comfort zone. So I think anyone can do this, and anyone has that privilege. And it's only a matter of choice and a matter of how strong you feel you want to do it. Like, how strong is your why? So it comes back to the why, to the motivation. And this is also like in my process, the soul creation, the book, I'm talking about source aligned manifestation, which means that source aligned is that what you're doing has a bigger purpose. And it is not only for yourself, it's about really changing something and serving other people. And I think if this is your why, and if you're remembering it, then you can move. Otherwise you find so many excuses and reasons why it doesn't work for you. And I mean, also when I remember when I started like 15 years ago, I really didn't have any resources. I didn't have money. I came back from the US because I spent many years there, and I was in kind of a spiritual community. I didn't have any kind of, like business mindset. I was more kind of meditating the whole time, and I didn't care about money. But then I felt I need to do that, and I had to change internally first before I had all the evidence in the outside. So I think it's an inside job. And I like this expression, you have to put some skin in the game. You really have to, otherwise you won't succeed.
Well, and like, here's the thing too, is that it's sometimes really hard for people to see that perspective. I fully believe and hear what you are saying, and I have the same mindset as you. I will create in a recession. I will help people and add value. I will pull people through. I will be a leader. Will I get the results that I would have when things are not this way? No, I'm not going to, but I'm going to continue to do the work because I know so fiercely in my heart how I can help people. But I have to also acknowledge that we're raised in a system, in an education system that raises us to be employees, that raises us to not question authority, to raises us to not question, what we should do and what we shouldn't. And we were raised to think we have to go to school, we have to get good grades, we have to, go to university and get a degree with a well-paying job and be part of that society. When the truth is, the people that are thriving are the ones that had the courage to say, I'm going to do things a little bit differently because that life doesn't sound like the one I should be living. That life isn't for me. And there's a lot of us out there that feel that way, right? Like, I remember being sold this dream and like, I just have to pay my bills for the rest of my life. Like, that doesn't sound like a dream to me. And it doesn't sound like something that would get me out of bed in the morning, even further from that, right? So I think it really is gently relaying to people that they too can have the same thing, but you have to know who your audience is. You have to know who you're speaking to, because there's a lot of people out there that are in desperation, that are in anger and in fear. And those people are not going to hear the message that you have because they don't feel capable of responding in a way that would create the same thing. And so we're kind of in this conflicted world right now, but I want to ask you, being somebody that maybe is sitting in a job that they've been at for a few years, that they're unfulfilled, and thinking there's got to be more to life than this, or this isn't what I want to do long term. Why is it so important to set big goals and dreams? And how can we overcome the fear of doing something different in a society that wants to keep us the same?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are like many questions you ask at the same
I
time.
know.
Totally, I hear you totally. I mean, it's always, you always have to come back to where am I standing right now? And we need that reality check, right? But so how can you overcome the fear? I mean, if, for example, somebody is listening and they are at this certain job where they don't feel they don't feel fulfilled. I mean, I would always kind of envision myself at the end of my life. This is what I do. You know, if I have to make a choice, I'm like, okay, I have maybe two roads I can choose. And then I just go into the energy of the first one where I'm like, okay, what is this going to create for myself, for my family, for my system, for the whole world? And if this is not really what makes me truly happy and what is my highest truth, I would just not do it. And you can always, you can always play safe, but then in the end, you don't really, I mean, what is going to be the result of it? I would always go to the result. This is what you said. You would envision yourself at the end of your life and say, okay, yes, I'm just going to pay my bills and I'm going to sit in an office where I'm like kind of bored or I just don't fit in. So there are so many possibilities, and just, I believe in miracles. I believe in magic. So we are there. I mean, yesterday I just had this huge miracle happening. It just came out of nowhere. And this happens all the time. And it's just a matter of faith. I think it comes back to faith and trust, and just opening up to this realm of possibility and of miracles and of magic, and really believing in a higher power. And there is help that is helping us. So I think if we have that kind of mindset and opening and open, we're just open to this creative flow, then doors are going to open up. It is not even that we have to open them. It is like, the universe is opening them up and we just have to walk through. And it is so much easier than we think. And it really comes, it comes back to mindset, because it's a mindset thing. You can people can keep thinking that way, then that things are really hard and difficult. And then you compare yourself to the others where you think it's easier, but anything can happen. So just change your thoughts, and then you have to act according to what you want to create. So this is the thing. Like
this is the manifestation piece.
Yeah, this is the most important thing, because many people start to think differently and they manifest and they have the vision boards and they feel, but then they don't move into action.
They don't act.
So really act before you're ready. This is what I keep telling my own clients. Just keep acting before you're ready. And this is how you overcome fear, because you will be so active that you don't even have time to think about, am I afraid or not? You're just in the flow and I don't even care if I'm afraid. I just want to go. So this is, and I think if you're in that kind of energy, people are so attracted to you because they feel the energy, the joy, the anxiety, this excitement. So I think, maybe this helps. This is what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Like, I believe that manifestation is having gratitude for where you are, gratitude for everything you have right now, and taking massive action towards what you want, massive aligned action towards what you want. Because most people miss that action piece, that they're actually going to have to work for it. But let me tell you something crazy. So I was talking to a friend a couple of months ago, and we were talking about my program, and like, she's like, you need to raise your prices for what you do. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, no, you do. And she's like, and then you could also do this, and you could do this, and you could do this. And it was like bigger ideas than I had seen for myself. And I said, well, that sounds amazing, but like, oh my God, it's like jumping off a cliff. And she's like, or it's like stepping over a rope, right? It doesn't need to feel that fear, or like you're jumping off a 50-foot cliff. You just step over the rope. And so what was really interesting from that conversation, I started acting more in alignment with who I was. There were things that I was hiding because I didn't want to make people feel bad. I didn't want to, make people feel less than or anything like that. And there were pieces of me that I was hiding that I felt needed to be out there because I could truly help people with that information, right? But I just wasn't sharing those things because I didn't want to hurt people. But in the process, you hurt yourself by not acting in alignment with those things, right? And what I learned in the last few months alone is that when you have the courage and the confidence to show up and follow that intuition, follow that little voice inside of you, when you have the courage to do that, quantum leaps happen in your life. Like you said, there's this flow state that starts to happen and the world opens up and there's all these opportunities that come into play. Like I could not dream for the opportunities that I have had right now in the last few months that I'm just like, how is this happening? How is this happening? Oh, wait, it's because I'm working at my highest version of myself. It's because I'm working up here in alignment with who I am and how I want to show up. And people are now seeing me for who I am, as opposed to being a commodity in a sea of noise. Right.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about how you use your intuition to make these business decisions so that you're not stuck in your comfort zone or stuck in a routine and a schedule?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think intuition is really like the one key that I think this is maybe the most important key to success, to be honest. Because when I look back on many business decisions, I mean, I've been doing this for like 15 years, which is really long. And when I look back on the good ones and the bad decisions, like the ones that were really bringing me the long-term success, and also, I mean, not only success, but true abundance, which is also fulfillment, and you feel this kind of deep sense of peace. I think this is really important. Those were the decisions that were just there right in a second, not even a second. You're just totally like, you know it. And this is not
that you know.
You just know. It's not something that you learned. It's not something that somebody told you. It's really a gut feeling. And it's like this first thing that you just know when you meet a person. So we know everything. Everything is inside us, the whole wisdom of the whole universe. We don't even have to look on the internet. And I think the problem is that we often forget that we know. We're just forgetting, and we're relying on all these outside things and all these kind of narratives that are going on. And I think, especially right now in these times, what you said, that there is so much conflict and different opinions and a lot of insecurity about the future. I think the most important thing is to really come back to yourself and just ask yourself and ask the wisdom of your body also, the cellular wisdom, and not relying on anything in the outside. And then the other thing is that you have to choose wisely with whom you are going to spend your time and energy. So I think those two things, if you only look at those two things, then you can make rapid growth and rapid progress. And it can go really fast, as you said, that just things fall into place so easily the whole time. Like seemingly effortless. This is also, you don't even have to bring a lot of energy, but it's just kind of going and flowing. So I think everybody is intuitive. Some people think they are not, but everybody is. Everybody has this intuition. Everybody has this kind of channel. And I used to train people in channeling here in Vienna for many years. So, and that's why I also know, because I trained so many people that at the beginning, they thought, oh my God, I don't have this access. I'm just so stuck in my head. But I'm like, no, just trust, just trust the process and just open. And there's always so much more wisdom and help than we think. And I think this is the beauty.
Absolutely. And so one of the things you said is knowing at a cellular level. I'm curious, do you muscle test?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Actually, I do. I have several muscle tests. But sometimes
I figured.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but it's even more than a muscle test. It's more like a gut, like kind of a inner centered knowing, which is so deep in your heart and soul. And it's like this kind of opening you feel when you think of a possibility. And on the other side, it would be like you have an offer, or you maybe have a client, a potential client also, where you feel from the beginning it's kind of awkward. Something is just not often. Then sometimes we talk ourselves out of it. I mean, I know this. I've made those mistakes, but then I regret in the past, and now I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Because I know we always know if something is off, and I think we have to trust that. We have to learn to trust it in a radical way, not just once in a while, but like always. And then we become those leaders because people feel the authority. They feel, oh my God, this person is like really centered and grounded in her authority. And this is also then bringing more, you have so much more power for everything you want to do in your business.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about your book now, Soul Creation. Let's talk. And this is, by the way, your second best-selling book. So
Yes, it is.
amazing. Congratulations, which means that you've got something really good to say. So let's talk a little bit about your book and why you decided to write it.
Yeah, I mean, so this one it's good because it's actually translated into English. I'm so happy. The other one has not been translated yet, but this Soul Creation it is. And I mean, it was just like, writing it has been my dream forever, to be honest. Like even as a child, I was like a book child. I would just read and write and write. And then it took me some time to really make the decision. And actually there were many people asking me if I want to write a book. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should do it. And then it was just such a, the whole process of being creative. No matter what you do, if you're writing, if you're painting, if you're creating a movie or creating a business, this is also being really creative. It is like for myself, it's been the most fulfilling experience, one of the most fulfilling experiences, because it's like you're opening up to something that wants to be said through you. And then you're like, oh my God, what is this? You're like, this is such a gift.
And that is so interesting that you said it that way, because every time I write, it is something that has come to me through intuition from, a download that is coming through me. And I never thought of it that way, but that's exactly what it is. Like you nailed that.
It is totally. And it is really a gift. And, I just saw a movie of Leonard Cohen, Leonard Cohen, the singer, and he is a poet and he wrote his songs. And he said that in his movie, in the documentary, said that it's really a gift you are receiving. It's not even yourself who is writing. It's more becoming this kind of pure channel and being really devoted to the message.
Wow. I love that.
You are like a devotee to the message, and then you're just kind of, it's more almost like a birthing process. And then, I don't know. I mean, it's just a magical reunion with something, I don't care how we call it. It's not really important to me, but there is something beyond our own, our own limited ideas about ourselves. And I think the more we can open up to that, the bigger is also the impact and the energies we can receive.
Well, a lot of the time when we tell our story, like we have a filter on, right? Yeah. My friend Jenny Potter talks about having a filter. And so you have this filter on that you see the world through your life experience, right? Through your judgment, through your, your connections and the wisdom that you've gathered along the way. And no single human has the same story as somebody else. Like we're all so uniquely divine that way. And so I really love this idea of soul creation and the power of alignment and manifestation, because believe it or not, whether you are conscious of manifestation or not, you are always manifesting. So the life that you have today is the one that you've created, regardless of you understanding and being a part of that creation or not. And so if you want to change that, if you want to do something different, you're going to have to tap into that energy and realize that, look, it's going to be me that has to shift things. It's going to have to be me that learns some new skills or becomes more open or does some personal development or, heals some stuff so that you can help somebody else. And through this whole process, this idea or this purpose is born. And that's the magic. That magic purpose for each and every one of us is where millions of dollars can be made if you know how to sell it. Right. And and I say it that way because I want people to understand that there's a financial benefit to it. But guess what? When you have that purpose, the impact is bigger than the millions and millions of dollars. The impact and how you show up and how you serve people is bigger than all the money that you'll make. But I want them to know that the opportunity is there. You don't have to climb a corporate ladder to make millions. You can actually create it yourself.
Sure. Yeah, totally. I mean, I love that idea that, I also think that way that the feeling of purpose and meaning is for myself, it's a higher value than, all the money I'm earning. But on the other hand, I also love to earn money with it. And I know that the more we are aligned with the purpose, the more money we create anyhow. But it's not the other way around. Many people try, they have these goals, these kind of financial goals, but they don't have the feeling of being in purpose or in service. And then you feel something is off and it's not in the flow. And I think we always have to start from this kind of pure intention of wanting to serve and just following this higher calling. And then the financial abundance is just a natural thing that's happening.
Yeah, it's like a
I mean,
waterfall.
it's a
Like,
law. Yeah, it is actually, it's actually a law. And even if you think about, I used to work with Bob Proctor, and then you have like the science of getting rich and all these like kind of
yes.
people that really know that they were talking about the science behind it. And they would say that you really, anyone can create financial wealth. And you just have to try to make an impact all the time and just give and give and give and surrender to the law. And then the more you give, the more it's going to come back automatically. And then, I mean, selling is not even selling in the old mindset. It's more like, when I sell, when I receive new clients, or I close contracts, I'm like, oh my God, this is my soulmate. It's more like, oh my God, I'm just falling in love with the person.
You know what? It's service, right? It's not selling, it's now service.
Yeah.
So what kind of service and of value can you be to other people? Because when you do connect with them and you connect with the right people, that's where the magic happens.
Sure. Yeah. And then it's also more like a co-creation. This is how I think of it. If you have like a new relationship of, being a coach and then you have a coachee, it's more like a co-creation, and it's a win-win. And we're just kind of inspiring each other, and it's this creative space we're in. And then it gets really fun and easy, and it's not so,
It's not so stressful, right?
It's not stressful. Yeah.
When you have a partnership or a mentor, this is what happens. Like all of a sudden you're in a different space. My biggest breakthroughs have come then. My biggest amount of money earned has come then. My biggest exposures have come then, because there's a different energy that comes when you collaborate with like-minded people or people that you're learning from. There's a magic and an intention behind that I find is explosive when you connect with the right people, right? So I just want to share with people in the title of this video, and I'll share it on the podcast, that you can get her book on Amazon, Soul Creation. And I'll share the link with the video here for you as well, because I want to make sure that people are able to get it. Is there anything you want to leave people with before we go?
No, I mean, I maybe the last thing is time is short. We always
think we have more time, and we don't.
We really don't. I mean, this is like a lifetime is like this in the universe. And I think just act on it now. If you feel you want to do something, if you feel you want to join, or you want to work with a mentor, or you want to just, pursue your dream, then just don't wait. Don't waste time. And I think if we just remember that every day, then we're fine.
It's so interesting because I know that we're in the middle of a recession, and that this recession is not going to end, in a year. It's going to be a few years of this. I understand that. But I spent the most money on mentors this year than I ever have before, because I wanted to be around people that were creating solutions in a different economy. I wanted to learn from the best in the business. I want to have the biggest brains in the network, right? And that's how we're connected, right? It's we get to mastermind together, and then we bring this information to our clients, and we help people grow through all of those things. So I just think it's also important to say that if you're going to be somebody that that mentors people, you should also take that very seriously and have mentors yourself. That's part of doing business. That's part of reaching the next level. And you don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to figure it out by yourself, right?
Yeah, totally.
So thank you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing your story and your book with us. I think it's so powerful. And I know that you've given a lot of hope to people that are watching this video and are going to listen to it on a podcast a little bit later on. I know you've given them a lot of hope that they have control of their lives right now. Stop playing defense and start going on the offense and follow that intuition. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine. It was really a pleasure talking to you, and I totally admire your work, and your energy is amazing. So I was glad that I could join, and wish you a beautiful day. Actually, it's your day, it's my night time.
Well, you have a great evening. Thank you so much, Lisa. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Okay.
If you think this video can help a friend, make sure you share it.